Okay, guys, I'm hoping that we are on the right one. Let's just have a look. Let me just double check. Let's have a look. It's all very confusing. Hi, Vincenzo. I'm just making sure we're on the right one. That's not it. Let's have a look. So, Vincenzo, are we on Elvis Presley long lost footage? I'm just making sure we've done it right. Make sure I'm on the right one. Okay. I think we are. Let's just get it up on here on the comments. So, hi, Carolyn. Are we on Elvis Presley long lost footage? Just want to make sure that we are. Yes, we are. Okay. Right. Let's just get the comments up. So we're going to carry on with what we're going to do. Let me just get it up. So in case you've only just joined us, we have been doing a Ginger Alden show on Elvis Presley fan on Keto. We've been going between the old Arkansas interview.
Detail, but, you know.
That was only done 13 days ago, it says here. We're about 23 minutes into it. We're going to play some of this, then we're going to play some vintage footage of Ginger Alden. We've got her book. I have been reading some of this book today, actually. Right. I just want to get the comments up on here. Okay. Are we on there? Yes. Let me just get on here a minute. So I've had a bit of time because my wife is... Here we go. So I've got your comments up. Good. Let me just write hi. Okay. Let's just carry on playing the interview. It's quite a long interview, so we're going to have to do it in probably in 2 or 3 more shows. So this will be part 2. Hi, Stacey, Vincenzo, and Carolyn. This will be part 2. If we do another part, it will be on the Defending Elvis channel. This is the Ginger Alden stuff, yeah. But I still want to go through some of your comments concerning David Stanley, Ricky Stanley as well. I want to go through them because we've had so many. I want to go through the Facebook as well. A lot of your comments that are coming through on the Facebook concerning the Stanleys. I think we should do a show reading your comments. But at the moment, we are doing Ginger Alden. Let's make this a bit bigger. Okay. No, I haven't heard this. I haven't watched this interview. I've only watched the up to where we are now. So let's just listen to it. This was obviously Ginger Alden only a few weeks ago.
There's a misperception out there that was purported by inner circle and even family members that, you know, that last period of Elvis's life, he was lethargic. He didn't want to do anything. And I know, because you and I talk about it a lot personally, but it ticks you off when you hear that portrayal of Elvis, that was really not the case in his day-to-day life. He was not bedridden and things.
Absolutely not. Now, I have a serious problem with that. I mean, the person I fell in love with and was with so much those 9 months and what I witnessed, it makes me angry. I don't know if some people were bitter because they weren't in a will, whatever the case can be. Some things were just started becoming...
I want to pause that, because she didn't have to say that. She says, I don't know what the case is. Is it because they're bitter in the will? Now, that to me, she is aimed at the Stanleys and the Smiths, yeah? Do any of you agree with that? Because that's quite a comment. Let me go back a bit. You know, she's lovely, isn't she? Ginger Alden's lovely, but she's not afraid to speak her mind. And when she says that, I would say she's even slightly annoyed. Do any of you agree that she's even slightly annoyed? Let's listen to it again, guys.
The majority of them are. And then a biographer will come along and pick up that story because I didn't talk to the biographers, you know. And then they run with it, so the story stays the same. And, you know, when Elvis passed away, I went on with my life, and I was proud of that. I worked, you know, I had a son, and when my son went off to college, because of so much out there, and I wasn't aware of a lot of stuff that was said. I knew a few things, but I thought, I've got to do this for history's sake, because it was unfair to Elvis, it was unfair to me. So it took 38 years, but I had written down a lot of stuff shortly after Elvis. Some things you don't forget, but I wanted to hold on to all that, so I'd written down a lot of things. And I'm so thankful that I was able to get that out. Yeah, I mean,
well, one of the things that we've discussed is.
Let me just check your comments. So did that surprise any of you that she says, I don't know if it's because they weren't left in the will? I think that warrants a bit of a discussion, guys. It was Rick Stanley on duty the night Elvis died. Yep. So don't forget, we've done a lot about Rick and David. So it's been fascinating, mine. It's been fascinating. That's what I've been saying all along. Let's have a look. So does anyone want to comment? I find that interesting that she throws that comment in there. Do you guys? Let's have a little listen, see if I can hear it again.
And for those of you who have read my book, there were some events that happened, and I had to write about those, because Elvis, I always said 98% of the time he was a wonderful person, and then this darkness would come in because of what I remember with the medication usage, and it would cause some mood swings. And I thought, when you're trying to help someone, so I went through some events with him, and he wasn't used to being told maybe not to do this or don't do, you know, and I kind of suffered for that later from some others, because things were misunderstood. People just thought, you know, one of the biggest things that some people started lying about was that Ginger Alden hated touring, or she didn't want to do this, or she asked him to have her parent. None of that's true at all. I mean,
so, you know, she's addressing all the points, guys. You know, Ginger Alden hated touring, etc. Remember, there's a lot of backlash against Ginger. I think she gets a lot of jealousy, bitterness. I think sometimes with the ladies, the claws come out. There are many, many things. If you went onto my Defending Elvis Facebook page and looked at Ginger Alden and looked at the posts that we've had on there, and then look at the comments, this woman gets a hard time. She's also very loved, very popular, very liked. Many people praise Ginger Alden and say lovely things about her. But she gets a hard time, guys. You go on her own Facebook, you know. I personally, I like her. I like Ginger Alden. Yeah, I'm a fan, guys. I'm a fan.
I loved watching Elvis perform, you know. I wouldn't have been at every single show, and just, I mean, I loved music. I grew up, my mom was musical, my sister played piano, and so someone started that along the way, and I didn't do a lot of, you know, take part in a lot of books early on, and so you kind of have to go back to the original people that started some of those stories, and I know who the majority of them are. And then a biographer will come along and pick up that story, because I didn't talk to the biographers, you know. And then they run with it, so the story stays the same. And, you know, when Elvis passed away, I went on with my life, and I was proud of that. I worked, you know, I had a son.
I don't know if you picked up on that, guys, but she's sort of saying, friends, family, ex-girlfriends, ex-wives have twisted the truth. And then the tabloids, the magazines, the TV companies have run with it. That's what I'm reading here, guys. She's calling people a bunch of liars. She's saying they're liars. That includes, I think, the Smiths, the Stanleys, Priscilla, and other ex-girlfriends.
And when my son went off to college, because of so much out there, and I wasn't aware of a lot of stuff that was said. I knew a few things, but I thought, I've got to do this for history's sake, because it was unfair to Elvis, it was unfair to me. So It took 38 years, but I had written down a lot of stuff shortly after Elvis. Some things you don't forget, but I wanted to hold on to all that, so I'd written down a lot of things. And I'm so thankful that I was able to get that out. Yeah, I mean,
Well, one of the things, and we've discussed this many times in great detail, but, you know, there's a misperception out there that was purported by inner circle and even family members that, you know, that last period of Elvis's life, he was lethargic. He didn't want to do anything. And I know, because you and I talk about it a lot personally, but it ticks you off when you hear that portrayal of Elvis, that was really not the case in his day-to-day life. He was not bedridden and things.
absolutely not. Now, I have a serious problem with that. I mean, the person I fell in love with and was with so much those 9 months and what I witnessed, it makes me angry. I don't know if some people were bitter because they weren't in a will, whatever the case can be.
I love it when she says that. I love it. I don't know if people were bitter because they weren't in the will. That is such a... the Smiths, the Stanleys, Priscilla Presley. How many other people think they should have been in the will? It's like, she's got balls, mate. This woman's got balls.
Some things were just started becoming blown out of proportion, and the next thing you know, it's like Elvis is a vegetable just drooling in bed. And I thought, I had many, many wonderful times with Elvis.
Do you hear that? Oh, the way she says it. Some of the people say they want people to say that Elvis would. I don't mean to be disrespectful and laugh, right? Sorry, Elvis, I'm sorry, but God rest your soul. But they say, oh, they want people to believe Elvis was a vegetable drooling in bed. I mean, come on. Oh, I'm not laughing at Elvis. I'm laughing at the fact that she's got the guts to say it on this interview. She's got something to say here, guys.
Elvis was at my parents' home 10 days before he passed away, and he was singing. And my sister had a baby grand piano.
And this is how she comes back. Hang on a minute. 10 days before he died, he was singing. This is a great point. Don't forget, he takes her to her grandmother's funeral. He gets engaged to her. Elvis gets engaged to Ginger Alden. We know that happened. There's proof of the ring being made. Yeah. So no, he wasn't lying around depressed, suicidal, hating every second of the day, wishing he wasn't alive. Dave Stanley, his own stepbrother, says that he killed himself. His own stepbrother says that. I've heard the Memphis Mafia say that he had lost the will to live. It's just bullshit. This is why I like Ginger Alden. She's 20 years old and she's doing that. Her memories from her being 20 years old, she's doing that to Elvis's family, friends, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, ex-employees, the Memphis Mafia. She's doing that. I love it.
And Elvis was singing, and just his voice was so strong. The shows that he did so frequently, and so many those last 9 months, and I thought the majority of them were absolutely fantastic. And it's just, like you said, I feel like sometimes it's just this man is a vegetable, he can't move, he's this or that. And I thought, you watch those performances.
Oh, I'm not laughing at Elvis. I'm laughing that she's saying it. Yeah. They try to portray him as a vegetable, but hang on a minute. Watch him sing in concert.
He could move. And it's just, I feel so sorry for him that some people said and did the thing. I thought he never ever deserved that. So
I have to give her a round of applause for that. I have to give her... Ginger gets a round of applause for that. I'm going to rewind that little bit.
Fantastic. And it's just, like you said, I feel like sometimes it's just this man is a vegetable, he can't move, he's this or that. And I thought, you watch those performances, he could move. And it's just, I feel so sorry for him that some people said and did the thing. I thought he never ever deserved that. So
now that's defending Elvis. That's how you defend Elvis.
Couple weeks before he passed, you were Lisa Marie was still there for, I guess, her summer visit.
Yeah.
So really, out of the 9 months that you and Elvis were together, I guess Lisa visited during the Christmas break.
Yeah.
And during the summer break.
Yeah.
So she wasn't there the whole 9 months.
No,
She went
no,
back
no.
up. But
Well, there we are. That's a great comment. Vincenzo, can you prove that? I have read it somewhere. He rented Liberty Land amusement park 5 days before he died, Louis, for Lisa Marie, and he had fun going on the rides. Is that true? I mean, I have read that somewhere. And if that is true, that fits with Ginger Alden's, what she's saying now. Yeah, it's probably in her book as well. Yeah. Guys, come on. Elvis wasn't lying in bed, curled up in a little ball, crying, wishing he was dead at the end of his life. He was looking forward to the future. Ginger Alden, just on this, has completely won me over, guys.
you guys had planned a trip to Liberty Land. And everybody was downstairs. I think you wrote about it in the book.
Right.
So I think it's a great story. Others have written about this a little bit, and it tells a whole different perspective, and you got to question it. But you tell the story about, I guess a week or so before his passing, you guys were going to Liberty Land.
Here we go. There we go. Okay, because I haven't watched all of this. Vincenzo just said it. Jane just confirmed it. Pat just confirmed it. Here we go, guys.
Taking, I guess, Lisa and your niece Amber,
Right.
and some of the other folks around there.
Right. And we were all getting ready to go. I had Lisa had become quite friendly with my brother's oldest daughter. Her name is Amber. And Amber was staying, she spent that last summer with Lisa a lot, slept over at the house. So I was all excited. I knew it would be good for Elvis to get out, because sometimes he wouldn't go out, and you'd try to, he kind of did little tests a lot of time, would make you wait for a while. So I remember fixing Lisa's hair in a little bun, and my niece's hair, fixed her hair, and we were all, I thought, oh, this is going to be great, because I love riding the rides and everything. So I walk out into Elvis's bedroom, and he's still sitting in his pajamas, and he said he changed his mind. And I didn't think it was right. Here the kids were all excited and all this, but it was just, Elvis would do little tests sometimes. And I remember I looked at him and I said, you once told me you could do anything. And he didn't quite like that, but he looks and he goes, get George Klein on the phone. George was a close friend of his. And George calls up whoever's in charge of Liberty Land, and I think a lot of the workers had gone home then. But finally they were able to locate some, and that challenge got him out of there, and I'm proud of that. So
Let's talk about Liberty Land. You and I discussed it today. We've heard that story about them going to Liberty Land, but what does Elvis Presley do at Liberty Land? I mean, he's there. The park's his, right?
Yeah.
He's got free reign. But what does Elvis Presley do? Does he go sit down and eat a snow cone? Tell us what Elvis does at Liberty Land.
I remember when he played, I believe it was the ring toss game.
This is it. This is fascinating, guys.
And there was quite a group. My sister Rosemary went, my sister Terry, another friend, a lot of people went. And he played, he won a little, remember the little ring toss game? And he won,
Like
I think it was a pink,
yeah.
He won a Pink Panther for me, a little stuffed animal, and a big yellow bird, and I think some toys for Lisa. But he loved the Zip and Pippin, the roller coaster. And so we got on that.
Someone told me you can still go on the Zippin' Pippins. Did someone has bought it or something? Tell me, does anyone know? Can you still go on it?
The front seat with Elvis, and I believe his stepbrother Ricky Stanley was on one side. And we stayed on that, and Lisa and Amber got on, and different people. Some people would get off. We stayed on that for probably an hour and a half, just going around and around, and Elvis was wanting to stand up, and Ricky was like, no, you still put your arms in the air and all this. But he had a great time, and it was good to see him, get out like that. So that was a fun night.
So fun things for you, Liberty Land.
Guys, I love it. I love all that.
And you guys went to movies.
Yeah, we saw the Pink Panther strikes again, and
we know, I think we Elvis fans, we know that Elvis was obsessed with the Pink Panther and knew all the words to the movies.
Spy Who Loved Me. The Spy, that was it, right? The Spy, I'm trying to think. The Spy Who Loves Me. And he loved Monty Python. If you guys
It's funny, I remember going with my father to watch The Spy Who Loved Me, the James Bond film.
really up on, he loved that. And he had introduced
And he loved Monty Python. Always look on the bright side of life.
Me that. I remember in his bedroom it was the first Betamax tape machine. These are a lot of you may
I had a Betamax video player.
not know what these are, but it was these old giant tapes. But he had, the Monty Python films, and he had introduced me to that, and those were a lot of fun. But he got a big kick out of those.
What about the Mac? What about? I mean, I'm throwing it around there. I mean, this is we do not have an outline, and I think this is the way conversation should go. I think you should have a conversation just like you're talking over the coffee table. We just got friends here to enjoy the coffee with us. McDonald's gift certificates. I mean, is this just the craziest thing? Tell us about.
So I know about this story. Let's listen, guys.
About the McDonald's gift certificates because I know everybody's looking for watches, rings, and cars.
Yeah.
And then Ronald McDonald gift certificates show up. I mean, it had to be jaw-dropping for the entourage. I mean, but I'm sure he got a kick out of it.
He loved it. He actually, I believe it was in July of '77 that he had my mother, and Elvis had gotten very close with my family. And my mother came out to the house, and my oldest sister, Rosemary, and Elvis got a kick. Rosemary would make him laugh a lot, and he got a kick out of her. But I remember he had me fill out, I guess it was for 50 cents. And he did these McDonald's gifts. He sent one of his aides to go get these gift certificates. And it took a while, and the aide came in and said he had gotten a speeding ticket on the way back, trying to get these back to Elvis. But Elvis wrote that out and gave to my mother, and he was generous again. He turned around, he said, "Here's your French fries," and then he had a check for my mother, and he goes, "And here's your Big Mac." But that's how generous he was, and as I said, if he gave gifts and you didn't take, he didn't understand that. It's just kind of almost ruined his day or didn't make him happy. So, as I said, he's just extremely generous. But the gift certificates, he loved that.
Hey, Ron, let's go back to that other photo, please. The other one. So this is your favorite photo, is that right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Hawaii trip. What prompted
Well, this is interesting, guys. I'm really interested in this bit.
that? What set that up, and what cut it short?
I believe it was the end of February, and Elvis had been talking about redecorating Graceland. And I remember he said it has to be something that you like too. And we were discussing colors, and I was mentioning green downstairs, and the bathroom that Elvis had given me off of his office. I mentioned turquoise and white that I loved. That would be pretty in that. So anyway, we chatted a little bit about some colors and all this. So Elvis asked me if I had ever been to Hawaii, and I said no, and he goes, "I'd really like to take you there." So I was so amazed, and we left on my sister Terry's birthday, which was March 3rd, 1977. And I thought it would just be a few people. But lo and behold, I think there were 38 that ended up.
So I didn't know that. 38 people in Hawaii. I never knew that.
Traveling with us. But the whole trip, Elvis pretty much stayed in the back of his plane, the large plane, the Lisa Marie, with my sisters and I. And he was cutting up. Somehow we got on the story of rats. And he was going, rats all over my body, and just joking and kind of cutting up with my sisters and I. And then he would mingle. He'd go up front and chat a little bit. But it was great to see him relax. And we stayed at the Hilton Hawaiian Village for a little while, and then Elvis we tried to get him to go downstairs, and my sister was like, "Well, why don't you put on a wig and some glasses and you go down?" And he said he couldn't do that, which I thought was interesting. But we ended up renting a house over, I can't think of the name of the beach, but it was over
North Shore, I believe. We're over near North Shore. The house isn't there anymore,
no,
I believe.
I think the beach started with a K. Someone here.
What was it?
Is it? Thank you. No, but we rented a house, and it was good. He got out. He didn't really get in the water a lot. He didn't do things. I know this goes into another thing. Elvis had scars on his back from the studs on his suit were so heavy, and I think that embarrassed him a little bit. And he didn't,
See, I never knew that.
Jump in the water and get this swimsuit and everything. But he had a good time. He was relaxed. We went to the Hawaiian Culture Center, or Polynesian Culture Center. And that was great. I got to see the show there, the performances, and but unfortunately, we were there maybe 10 days, but the trip was cut short because of sand blew in his eye, and he had some tours coming up. So we had to go, we left Hawaii and...
So I didn't know that even that the trip was cut short. Did she say because there was sand in his eye?
Went back to Graceland, and he had an eye doctor come in, and I stayed and put cream in his eye at night to help it, and it eventually healed, and so he could go on the next tour that was coming up.
When you got
Didn't know that. That's the first time I've heard that she had to put cream on his eye and then it eventually healed.
guys came back to Graceland, and you started this story out that
Yeah.
they were already talking about renovating.
Yeah.
You know, it was the red motif when you
Right,
went over
right.
to the red motif, and but he had already you had a passion for art,
Yeah.
and you
Well, the surprising thing, but when we did come back also, the bathroom upstairs was decorated in turquoise and white for me. So he had that redone. Which
so he
just,
had already started.
So this is all new to me, guys, that the bathroom was redecorated in turquoise for her.
Yeah,
process.
I didn't know.
And one of the other things is, and we've all been in the racquetball room, which became the trophy room until they built the plaza. There's an area upstairs that I don't think it's part of a tour,
No.
but he was going to put something up there for
Yeah,
you.
I loved art, and being with Elvis, it was of course a lot about him and his needs, and through our relationship, I had mentioned to him a few times about art, because you could get lost in it because you were taking care of him and all this, but the night that, or at early morning before he passed away, when we had played a little racquetball that night, and but this first time I'd been in the racquetball court with him the whole time we'd been together.
Even that, when they mentioned the racquetball, if Elvis was so depressed and just wanted to die and commit suicide, why would he go and play racquetball?
So he took me on a little tour, but he went upstairs and there's a jogging track, and he pointed to an area, and it made me feel so good because he mentioned about building an art studio for me. And I thought, he's listening, he's getting that, and that always meant a great deal to me.
And when you guys went,
That's fun. Even that, guys, doesn't it? It speaks a lot, actually. It tells you that Elvis was planning for the future, even with Ginger Alden.
to the dentist, he asked Dr. Hoffman,
Yeah.
hey, when we get back, can you do some work?
Yeah, about doing some future dental work on
Yeah.
my teeth, and yeah, I mean,
It doesn't sound like a guy that's trying to get rid of a girl, I mean, if you're going to do some dental work and build her an art studio and all these other things, and
it's a parting gift.
yeah, and the spa guy, I don't really, as a fan, I really
Well, you read a lot of stuff.
yeah, I don't really understand the dissension. I really don't. I think, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but if you were there and you lived a part of that, whether it's 15 minutes or 15 years, it doesn't matter. You have your story to tell, but I think they need to stay in their lane and tell their story. And I don't have a problem with that, as long as you tell the truth. And I'll say this, I watched a video the other night, because I mean, even some of the naysayers admit, engagement, but wasn't going to get married. I was a policeman, and like Dragnet, just the facts. I don't want to hear what he said or she said. Let's just talk about the facts. And I think the story, because you were truly unplugged for over 40-something years, you really didn't pay attention to really what. I think the story got diluted for self-interest, and I think we go back to what we started about with Bill, authentication. I think truth, authentication needs to be said. And in '78, you gave an interview, not projecting that we'd be sitting in Eureka Springs 40-something years later. And the comment said in 1978 was that night, it was talking about the night Elvis passed, or the night, or the night before. Your comment was, and I quote, "We talked about wedding plans." Okay? Now, you'd have to be really projecting into the future to come up with that statement in 1978 if it were not true. So, as a fan and a friend, I look at the facts, folks. The man called Lowell Hayes up and said, "I need a ring tonight," okay? She got the ring. They were talking about the wedding plans. Billy Stallings just showed you the church. Look at the facts. You guys are smart. And if somebody is talking out of turn in this Elvis world for whatever reason, look at their motives. I mean, I will call them out. Okay, I'll call them out. There's a country music singer who I enjoy. He was friends with Elvis. He just came up with the night before Elvis. He was over there at Graceland at 4 in the morning. It never happened.
I've seen some Lulus of stories. I don't get it.
If you
I wonder which singer he's talking about.
listen to these people's stories, there was 14 people in bed with them every night because they were all with Elvis.
See, I get even that. I agree. This guy seems very wise. There's so many people make things up about Elvis, and Elvis is the victim of it. People believe all the bullshit. Right, guys, I'm gonna have to go. 1 second, I'm just saying goodbye. So, guys, I'm gonna have to go. We're gonna do another part of this. We're on 38 minutes in. This was great. This was brilliant. I really enjoyed this. I really like that guy. The more I listen to Ginger Alden, the more of a fan I am. Fascinating, guys.